So now we're going to get ready to solder our piece. You have the piece of solder that's already been cut. We keep this piece of solder a little longer than you need it so it's doesn't get hot when you're holding it. The soldering iron is in its holder. These are great holders. The soldering irons come with little tiny holders that are okay if you have a lot of experience or whatever and you're not likely to knock them over. But I just really think it's worthwhile to get these kinds of holders. I like them. You could put a little piece of sponge in that well, but sometimes, to be honest, we just use a little piece of wet paper towel for cleaning the head of our soldering iron. Okay, so what you want to make sure that soldering iron tip is always clean. So in between solders, if you will, I don't know if that's a verb or not. I guess it is. I solder, you solder. You just want to wipe it off. Okay, keep it clean. That's important. So the first thing you need to do is to put flux onto your foil. So there's a little flux brush. When we give you flux, we typically put it in one of these little containers. If you have, if you're doing this as a class in your studio or whatever, and you have just a whole bottle of flux, you can just put a tiny bit on a little scrap piece of glass. I mean, nothing, it's just, you don't use very much, and it doesn't have to be anything special. All right, so we're just making sure that it's covered on both sides and the edge, okay, with the flux. Close the flux so we don't spill it. And then to solder it, I'm going to describe it because soldering is a lot faster, or adding the solder is a better way to say it, is a lot faster of an activity than a lot of times I find beginners realize. You're really just going to you're going to heat the tip of the solder and spread it with the soldering tool on top of the foil. It happens very quickly and you don't need very much. So you can hold it close, and you can see Emily's just heating it and dropping it, okay? And then you go back and you spread it, okay? And look how far she can get with one drop of solder. Okay, all the way down the side and around the corner. So the issue is if you have a spot that you don't like, you can keep spreading on it, okay? So that little blobby thing, it's a technical term that Emily had there. That solder ball just came right off. All right, so you guys have the idea. She's gonna reuse it because that's who she is. And we've got it all, you can see her doing that.